If you're a fitness coach stuck under $10,000 per month, the problem is probably not that you need more content, and it's probably not that you need more leads. Because after working with over 100 coaches, I've seen the same pattern again and again. Most coaches are not stuck because they're lazy, bad at coaching, or don't post enough. They're stuck because the business underneath their coaching is way too weak to convert attention into clients consistently. One of our clients, Ramona, had worked with an agency for over a year without landing a single client. And after we rebuilt the foundation around her positioning, her offer, her message, and her sales, she made around $10,000 in the first week after that foundation was set. So the skill was already there, but the market just couldn't see it clearly enough yet. And that is what this video is about. Why more leads won't fix a broken business, why content is usually not the root problem, and what you actually need to build if you want to scale to 10K per month and you want that to be realistic, consistent, and profitable. You would never tell a client with a terrible squat technique to just add more weight. You would fix the bracing, the depth, the control, and maybe the programming. You'd fix all the weak links. But in business, fitness coaches do the opposite all the time. Their foundation is weak, and instead of fixing it, they add more weight to it. More content, more DMs, more ads, more phones, more sales scripts, whatever it is. And then they wonder why the business feels heavier, not stronger. Because effort without structure just creates exhaustion. I've watched coaches triple their posting schedule and make less money. I've watched them run more ads with a broken offer and just burn cash. I watched them buy countless of courses, templates, scripts, agencies, you name it, while the real bottleneck stayed untouched. And the real bottleneck is almost always this: the business foundation is not strong enough to handle the load they're trying to add. If your positioning is unclear, more content won't clarify it. If your offer doesn't create desire, more leads won't want it. And if your sales process is passive, then more conversations won't close. So the issue is not effort, the issue is the structure. Because most coaches are trying to grow a business they haven't fully built yet. They want scale before the foundation, they want the results before clarity, they want the momentum before the actual machine works. And that's why it feels so incredibly hard. Not because they're doing the wrong thing, but because they're doing those things on top of something that isn't really built yet. A lot of coaches think that their problem is content. They think that if they just posted better hooks, better reels, better carousels, better stories, better captions, then clients would come. But content is not the foundation. Content is the output of the foundation. If positioning is unclear, then content just becomes random. And if the offer isn't desirable, then content cannot create demand. And then again, if the message doesn't challenge beliefs, then content just entertains. Content amplifies what's already there. It doesn't create what's missing. So when a coach says, I post every day and nothing happens, then the real question isn't, what should I then post? The real question is, what is my content supposed to be building beliefs in? Because content without strategy is just noise. If the market doesn't understand who you are for, what problem you solve, and why your unique method works, and why now matters, then more content just makes you more visible while still being unclear. So you are not invincible, you're just unclear. And more visibility without this clarity doesn't fix the business, it just exposes the gap faster. So then, what actually happens? The coach sees that the content isn't working, so they look for tactics. Better hook, a DM script, a funnel, a lead magnet, a sales framework, whatever it is. And yes, the tactics, they can help, but only if that foundation is ready. Because if positioning is weak, then the hook won't land. If the offer is generic, then DM scripts won't create that urgency. And if you haven't built any trust yet, then the funnel will just leak sales. So tactics, they're tools, but tools don't fix weak foundations, they just make weak foundations more obvious. And most coaches under 10K per month, they're not missing more tools, they're missing the foundation that makes the tools work. They have the templates, they have the scripts, they have the course libraries, whatever it is, but the business underneath all of that is still unclear. So adding more tactics just creates more complexity without more results. And then you as a coach might think, oh, maybe I need a different tactics. So then you try another one, and the business becomes even more chaotic. It just becomes this chaotic mix of half-executed strategies that never had the time to actually work because the foundation was not there. And then the fix is not another tactic. The fix is stepping back and asking, what is actually broken here? The real bottleneck is this. The market doesn't know how to move from I see you to I am ready to buy, because buying is not one decision. Buying is the result of multiple belief shifts. And most coaches are trying to sell before those belief shifts have actually happened. And here's what needs to happen in order. First, they need to see you. That is awareness. That's content, that's acquisition, that's actually showing up. Then they need to understand you, who you're for, what your problem you solve, what makes your method different. And if this step is unclear, then they just scroll past. Then they need to trust you. Trust comes from proof, consistency, and clarity, and how you communicate. If trust is missing, then they watch, but they never engage. And then they need to want the transformation. Desire here is created by showing them what is actually possible, what life looks like after, why staying the same has a cost. And if they don't want it yet, then price becomes the objection. And then they need to believe your method works. So not just that the transformation is possible, but that your specific approach actually creates this. This is where content, case studies, and messaging do the heavy lifting. Now they need to believe that now actually matters. That urgency is not, fake countdown timers. Urgency is actually helping them see why waiting has a cost. If they believe that maybe later will come, then they'll wait forever. And then they're ready to buy. That is the whole journey. And if any of those steps are missing or unclear, then the buyer doesn't move forward. Most coaches think that the problem is sales, but sales is not where the conversion starts. Sales is where the conversion is revealed. If someone gets on a call and ghosts you, it's not always because you're bad at sales. It's often because one of the earlier steps here, they didn't happen. Maybe they didn't really understand what you do. Maybe they didn't trust you. Maybe they didn't want the result badly enough yet. Maybe they didn't believe that your unique method was the right one for them. Maybe they didn't feel the urgency. The sales call just exposed the gap. So the fix is not a better sales script. The fix is building belief earlier in this process. And that is what Foundation does. Foundation is a system that moves people through those belief stages predictably. Positioning creates understanding, offer creates desire, content creates trust and belief, and then proof creates the credibility, and your messaging creates urgency, and then the sales, that's just a decision. When those pieces are connected, buying feels way more natural. And when they're disconnected, buying feels risky. And that is the real problem if you're making under 10K per month. It's not that people don't want coaching, it's that the business isn't guiding them through the belief journey clearly enough. So what does Foundation actually look like then? This is where the Aura engine comes in. Aura is the trust, the clarity, the authority, the desire, and the belief your market feels around you before they ever speak to you. And it's not about, being cool or looking successful. It's about the market understanding you, trusting you, and wanting the transformation you offer, believing in your method, and seeing proof and feeling that you are the right choice to actually help them. The Aura engine has 7 parts to it. Positioning is what makes people understand that this is for me. Offer is what makes them feel this is worth paying for. Content is what makes them believe this person gets it. Acquisition is what brings the right people into your world. Sales is what helps them make that decision. And delivery is what turns your clients into living proof. Mindset and leadership is what keeps the whole thing then packed and moving when emotions fluctuate. When these pieces work together, growth compounds. When they don't, everything feels way harder than it should. So if your positioning is weak, then content is harder. If your offer is weak, then sales are harder. If content is weak, then DMs are colder. And if sales are weak, then leads will leak. And this is the same pattern we've seen across very different coaches. Ramona needed the foundation rebuilt after a year with no clients. Vegard needed the structure to go from no predictable online business to now around doing 30K per month consistently. Jannike, she didn't even have an Instagram in November, and now she sold coaching for over 40K. These are different people, different starting points, but the same principle. When the business around the skill is built properly, the market responds differently. Most coaches under 10K per month are then trying to fix pieces separately. But the business doesn't work in pieces. The market experiences the whole thing. They see your content, then they visit your profile, they read your bio, they watch your stories, they see your proof, they DM you, they ask questions, they hear your offer, they feel how you sell, and then they decide whether they trust you or not. All of that is connected. So if there is a disconnection anywhere here, then people will feel friction. The Aura engine is about removing the friction, making the whole business communicate one clear thing. I understand you, I can help you. This is the path, here's the proof. This is why now matters, and this is why it's worth it. That's when a coach becomes the obvious choice. And 10K per month consistently doesn't usually require a massive audience. It requires a business that converts attention well. A coach with a small but clear audience can do very well. A coach with a bigger but confused audience, they will still struggle. It's not always the audience size, it's audience belief. It's not just reach, it's resonance. It's not just leads, it's conversions. At some point, the issue is not just strategy. The person also has to change. Coaches under 10K per month often want the income of a business, but they still operate with the identity of a freelancer. A coach with clients thinks, how do I get a few more people? What should I post today? Who can I DM? How do I survive this month? But a coaching business owner thinks, what market am I building in? What offer are we known for? What systems creates conversations? What numbers are we tracking? Where are people leaking? How do we create more proof? That is a completely different way of thinking. You can give someone the right plan, but if they still operate from emotion, avoidance, inconsistency, and vibes, then the plan won't carry. They need to become the kind of person who can actually run the business. And that means more ownership, more structure, more standards, more ability to handle discomfort, more ability to lead conversations, more ability to look at numbers without making it emotional. And that is the identity shift you need to go through. A client who wants to transform their body eventually has to stop identifying as someone who's trying to lose weight and start becoming someone who lives like a fit person. They don't just need a meal plan, they need to become the kind of person who follows a plan when motivation drops, who trains when it's not exciting, who tracks honestly, who stops negotiating with every craving, who builds standards. And it is the same in business. A coach doesn't just need a marketing plan. They need to become someone who executes when the post doesn't perform, who follows up when it feels uncomfortable, who looks at failed sales calls as feedback, not proof that you suck, who keeps showing up when the algorithm is quiet. Because under 10K per month, the business is often very emotional. A good week means, oh, I'm a genius, this is working. But a bad week means I'm terrible, maybe I should just quit. One client signs and they're motivated. One person ghosts and they doubt everything. A business owner cannot operate from this. They have to create emotional distance, not because you don't care, but because they need to make better decisions. A lot of coaches say they want freedom, but they haven't accepted the responsibility that comes with it. They want to leave the 9 to 5. They want to earn online. They want flexible days. They want clients coming in. They want to be respected. But freedom is not just doing whatever you feel like. Freedom comes from structure. If your business has no structure, then you are not free. You're just available to chaos. The dream is freedom, but the path there is responsibility. And this identity shift also includes becoming more coachable. Your best clients are not the ones who blindly obey. They are the ones who are humble enough to trust the process, but curious enough to also understand the reasoning behind it. And that is a business owner trait. They don't fight every piece of advice from ego, but they also don't want to be dependent forever. They ask, why are we doing it this way? What is the principle behind this? How do I think about this? How do I make better decisions later? And that is the type of person who grows, because they're not just buying tactics, they're upgrading how they think. The coach under 10K per month often wants answers. The business owner wants principles. Answers helps this week, but principles help forever. And then there's tracking. A lot of coaches don't need to obsess over advanced metrics at first, but they do need basic business awareness. How many conversations did we start? How many people showed interest? How many calls got booked? How many people actually bought? And what objections came through? Where did the leads come from? What content created these conversations? This is not corporate complexity. That is just knowing what is actually happening in your business. You wouldn't coach a client without looking at the body weight, measurements, performance, adherence, sleep, hunger steps, whatever it is. You wouldn't just say, the vibes are off, let's change everything. But coaches do that in business. They don't track leads, calls, close rate follow-up, content, performance, and everything else. Then they make emotional decisions. Numbers aren't there to shame you. They're there to show you where reality is. The point is not to become less of a coach. The point is to become enough of a business owner that your coaching can actually reach the people who need it. Because if you want to coach full time, then business is a part of the coaching. If nobody buys, you don't get to coach. If your message isn't clear, people don't get helped. If your sales process is passive, people don't make decisions. If your delivery has no structure, results don't compound. So business is not separate from impact. Business is the vehicle for impact. And the reason this identity shift matters is that 10K per month consistently is not just a revenue level, it's a maturity level. It requires you to become someone who can create, trust, handle responsibility, lead conversations, and execute. You don't need to be perfect, but you need to stop operating purely on vibes. You need to know who you help, what you sell, what you post, how you create conversations, how you sell, how you follow up, and how you deliver. That is a coaching business owner. And once a coach becomes that person, the business starts to feel different. Less chaotic, less random, more grounded, and more repeatable, more real. That is the identity that can carry 10K per month and beyond. So if you're a great coach, but nobody understands your value, what you need to remember is that the best coach doesn't automatically win. The clearest coach often wins. The most trusted coach wins. The coach who can explain the problem, show the path, create the belief, and guide decisions wins. And if you're actually good, then learning that side is not like selling out. It's making your skill reachable. You don't need to become louder in a fake way. You just need to become clearer. Clearer on who you help, clearer on what you solve, clearer on why your offer matters, clearer on what makes your method different, clearer on your content, in your sales, and in your delivery. Because clarity is what makes trust possible. Trust is what makes demand possible, and demand is what makes 10K per month realistic. If you're watching this and recognizing yourself in it, then don't turn this into shame. Turn it into a diagnosis. A diagnosis is not a death sentence. A diagnosis tells you what to work on. So if your positioning is weak, fix it. And I want you to ask yourself now, if 100 perfect fit leads landed in my world this month, would my business be ready? Would my profile make sense? Would my content build belief? Would my offer create desire? Would my sales process guide them? If the answer is no, then the next move is not to chase more leads. The next move is to build the foundation. And once that foundation is built, the same effort starts producing way more. So you're not necessarily far away because you need 10 times more attention. Sometimes you're far away because the attention you already have is leaking. So fix the leaks, build the engine, become the obvious choice, then we can scale. If you realized watching this that you don't have a content problem or a lead problem, but a foundation problem, that is exactly what we help coaches fix. We help you rebuild the business around your coaching so your positioning is clear, your offer is easier to sell, your content creates belief, and your sales process feels structured. So 10K per month doesn't depend on a random momentum anymore. It becomes something you can understand, repeat, and improve. And if you want help building this, then check the link in the description or send me a message on my Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.